Newsday Tuesday. I'm your host, Andrew Foster, and I'm sat here with my co-host, Mr. Sylvia.
And I still don't know what to say.
So perhaps, children around school, we could come up with a catchphrase that Mr. Sylvia could use on this opening segment. So, today in international news, we're going to be taking a look at how Brexit is going to hit the British economy over the next couple of years. Wait, what's that, Michelangelo? Breaking news! From Mexico City, a giant rat! Unbelievable breaking news has hit our scene as a giant rat has been discovered in Mexico City. It turns out workers were desperately trying to clear 22 tons of litter out from their drainage system when they came up next to a rat the size of a human man. It's giant, people. It dwarfed them in size. This rat was so big, and as they were fearing for their lives, however, the brave men in Mexico City managed to drag the rat out onto the street, where it turned out it was a Halloween prop of all things. They hosed it down, and there it stood. Turned out that it had been washed away in a storm on a previous Halloween. It turns out the Mexican officials put out a statement, and Evelyn Lopez claimed the giant rat as hers. It turned out she'd made it herself as a Halloween prop to put outside of her store. Unfortunately, flash floods and storms washed it away. The real question is, how did a rat the size of a human man end up getting down into the drains? I guess some mysteries will never be solved. Rats all, folks. In national news today, an angry seagull has been attacking a Minster primary school, and they've been holding them hostage. You see, this renegade seagull has been flying over the grounds of the primary school, searching for its opportune moment to strike. 3 members of staff and multiple children have been attacked by this vicious bird. It turns out the bird had been raised in the village, but once it got to a certain point, they stopped feeding it. The bird now has to search and scour the landscape for its own, and it has decided in this opportune moment to pick on a primary school of all things. Paul McCaffrey, not McCartney of Wings, has stated that it is an unprovoked attack, and there is no reason that this menace should be taking on their playground. However, the RSPCA has suggested that umbrellas might be a good idea to protect the staff and children. We're ever so lucky to be here in Salisbury, where there is no such threat from these seagulls. Now with Mr. Sylvia with the local news.
This sort of activity is on the increase on Salisbury Plain. Off-road motorbikes driven on tank firing range. Yes, a tank firing range. It is incredibly dangerous. It also forces the army to cancel their training until the area is clear. This film is being captured by a drone, which is one of 10 the army is currently using to patrol the area the size of the Isle of Wight. Salisbury Plain is an important training area for the army, but also a public space. The red flags indicate when some parts are off limits. However, dog walkers often ignore the signs.
This week, we're going to give you an opportunity to see behind the scenes, because so many of you have been asking questions about how Newsday Tuesday has been made. So Mr. Thomas has been out there with his camera catching all of the fantastic footage.
And here he comes now.
So this is the behind the scenes of Newsday Tuesday.
Hello.
So Thursday after school, we are ready to film Newsday Tuesday. And here we have Mr. Sylvia and Mr. Foster, who are preparing their stories for Newsday Tuesday. I think Mr. Foster is actually prepared this week, and Mr. Sylvia is almost ready. And then the next job, once we've got them sorted with their stories, is to go and get the news desk set up. Okay, so we have our news desk set up in front of our little green screen. Very basic camera setup with light, and that means we are pretty much good to go. So I had to get myself set up as well, so I've got my cap on and my mug. Got it from Tesco. Right, so I did say that I'd set up the news desk, but unfortunately Mr. Sylvia's a little bit too small for it, so he's going to have to wind it down himself to get it to the right height. Okay, so let's just go and check on Mr. Foster preparing for today's Newsday Tuesday.
Today we're seeing flying prototype. What are you doing, man? I'm practicing. Get out! Get out! To be here in Salisbury where there is no such threat from these seagulls.
First of all, I would like to give a very special mention to Year 6 because every time I see them, they are on it.
We are now finally finished, ready to go, put it all together and get it ready for Tuesday. So, I look forward to it. Okay, so it's Thursday evening, dogs have been done, dinner's sorted, and I'm about to go and edit Newsday Tuesday into the office, but clearly the computer's in more important use at the moment. Is it my go yet?
No.
Right, so when I ask you if I can have a game, just say yes and then I'll have a quick game, alright?
Yeah, alright.
Okay, so it's my go now, right, Jacob?
No.
Okay, so I've got stuck into the editing. As you can see, I filled out most of the timeline. There's lots of overlays, videos where we've had to add some green screen, and adding a couple of videos like the man-sized rat earlier on. Trying to get Michelangelo not to disappear whilst using the green screen was a little bit tricky. Could potentially make him disappear like this, or make Mr. Foster, or Mr. Foster's head disappear. So we've got most of the timeline filled out. The thing that I'm doing at the moment actually is the behind the scenes stuff that I'm recording now and putting together now. And once that's done, it'll be good to go, good to save, upload to YouTube, and then we'll be watching it on Tuesday morning. So I'll see you then.
The England women's cricket team are currently playing against the West Indies. They have moved into a 2-0 lead in the 5-match series. Having slumped to 96 for 6, England were boosted by a 46-run stand between Glenn and Catherine Blunt. They finally finished on 151 for 8. The West Indies collapsed and only managed 104 for 8 in reply. This weekend, Lewis Hamilton will be revving up for the German Grand Prix, which is raced on a very famous Nuremberg Ring track.
Who was that Austrian driver? Nicky?
Lauda.
Who
Lauda.
was that? Oh!
Hello everyone and welcome to a new segment, School News. First of all, I would like to give a very special mention to Year 6 because every time I see them, they are on it. They're really setting a good example for the school. Of course, I can't have favourite teachers, but this week it's Mr. Sivya.
Whoop whoop.
In other news, we've got a new reading award coming up. If your class has the most reads recorded for a term, your whole class will get to come in non-school uniform. In the words of my doctor, the more you read, the more you know. The more you learn, the more places you'll go. Yeah, that's right, doctor's use. And finally, a big well done to everyone for wearing gold on Friday. You were helping to support a really good cause to help some children who are sick. All right. Well, have a really good week, Pembroke. I look forward to seeing you around. Goodbye.
Alright, okay, well, I guess that's been Newsday Tuesday, and that has been the news. We'll be back same time, same channel, bringing you the most fantastic news stories from around the globe.
Like and subscribe. Did I have to be down there for the whole time?
Acting? You call that acting? I'm a star, man! Well, let's hope Mr. Syria joins us next week for Newsday Tuesday.